Before we start, everyone grab a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to write this down in front of you. And I'm gonna get you, if better, you can print this out and you can stick it up on the wall in front of you. And I just want you to say this to yourself before every damn sales call, because it's got nothing to do with the sales process at the start. It's got everything to do with how you approach it. And the sentence I want you to write down is, I am the prize. I am the prize. Hey there, expert. If you're a consultant looking to grow your practice to 500K and beyond, then this masterclass is a preview into some of the strategies and tactics we teach our experts around sales, marketing, and how to create high converting offers and delivery system so they can enjoy more profit without sacrificing their lifestyle. Now, if you like this session, please give us a like, a subscribe, or even comment. Every bit of engagement helps get this message out to more people. Anyway, enjoy the masterclass, and we hope to see you in person, on a call, or at one of our events soon. Hey guys, welcome. Today we've got a masterclass. This is going to be pretty much in the time we have. I'd like to split this up into two sections. Section one, I'm going to go through an overview of the sales sequence we recommend, some of the principles and practices, and then what I want to do is dial into the launch call specifically. Because one of the things that I've seen with people is when it comes time to do the sales part, the actual let's make a yes or no decision, most people get nervous, fumble, and they lose the opportunity around the end of the launch call. And the reason why we lose the opportunity at the end of a launch call or a sales call is because it comes down, it's almost like, think about oxygen in a room. At the start of a call, there's a lot of oxygen. There's a lot of, everyone's a little bit nervous. Everyone knows why they're here. It feels good. So we build some rapport. And then as we talk, the oxygen starts to become less and less until there's the end of the call where it becomes about saying less to get to where you want them to go. Decisions happen based on tension. And tension is built where a decision comes down to a very, very clear set of choices. And so if the choices are not clear and the tension is not there, the decision will get deferred or delayed. So ultimately, I think of sales as in managing tension to form a decision, to help create an outcome in the direction that somebody is committed to taking. Some people are committed to staying where they are. We'll do our best to help them, but some people are committed to making a choice. And so today, I can't go through everything in sales. I'm going to touch on some of the key things, but I'm going to dial into the triangle, our money model, as a real big piece of whenever I use the money model, it seems to take the whole call from something theoretical and it brings it right down into something that is practical and applicable. And I think that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants a plan. And when you can sell the plan and link it to the progress that people want, people buy into the plan in order to make the progress. So you are the custodian of the plan. You are the keys to the car that is going to get them to the destination. And we have to remember that more than anything, everyone, I want you to put this at the top of your page right now. Before we start, everyone grab a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to write this down in front of you. And I'm going to get you, if better, you can print this out and you can stick it up on the wall in front of you. And I just want you to say this to yourself before every damn sales call, because it's got nothing to do with the sales process at the start. It's got everything to do with how you approach it. And the sentence I want you to write down is, I am the prize. I am the prize. Sometimes we get on a sales call and we think, well, I've got to tap dance and I've got to show this person how good I am and really impress them and convince them and pull them and shape them and help them. And we expend an exorbitant amount of energy when the reality is the person has come to the call not for you to prove yourself to them, but I flip it. In my mind, I want to see how I can help them, and if I can help them, and if I should help them, and if they are the right kind of person I want to work with. If you come into the launch call or a sales call with that mentality, you elevate your thinking, and therefore it gives you a feeling of certainty, of value, of power, because ultimately the person has come to you not because everything's working, right? They've come to you because it's not working. And you have the solution. It's like, imagine, quick story, I want to set the scene here. Imagine there's been a heat wave, right? And there's no more water. Water ceases to exist for a temporary period of time. Or if you're like at the moment, here where there's a cyclone about to come apparently, and everybody apparently has to buy toilet paper. Suddenly toilet paper becomes really valuable, right? So, I didn't realize that dysentery comes with a cyclone, but apparently, it does. So this is a whole new thing for me. But when you think about it, if you think about toilet paper or water or whatever it is, the more scarce the thing is, the more valuable it is. If someone comes to you and they're like, I'm thirsty, and there is an abundance of water, it's harder to convince someone, right? Because they're like, well, I don't need you. I can just go to the tap and get it. But then you got people like, you've got some companies who will sell it for like $7 a bottle, right? So you've got this supply and demand. So why do people sometimes pay $7 for water? Some people just go, I can get it from the tap. Why do some people pay $7 for water and some people just say, I want to get it from the tap? What's the difference? And let's flip it again. Well, if someone comes to the call and they are in a lot of pain, right? Like a doctor, think about like a doctor. Someone comes to you, you're the doctor, and they come to you with a broken arm. It's sore and they're worried. Your job as a doctor is to do an assessment to make sure what's going on is actually what's going on, so you can diagnose and then you can deliver a solution. And now businesses are no different from a body, right? When someone comes to you, Dan or Anthony or Derek or Rob or Joel, they're coming to you because they have a very specific need that is on the other side of a very specific problem. And what we tend to do is, rather than assuming that what they need is this one overall arching solution that fixes everything, a fix-all, our first thing is we have to diagnose and help them understand where it hurts, why it hurts, what they want, and then for us to be able to make an assessment and then help them make a decision. And that decision might be surgery, it might be rehab, it might be amputation, we don't know. But ultimately, our first thing that we have to do is help people understand where the pain is, what's causing the pain, and what we can do to fix it. Without a pain or a problem, there is really no solution. And so the first thing we have to do is understand the pain and the problem. First thing. And so when we look at sales, sales is a system. As we say, profit loves a process. If you think for 1 second that you are going to grow and scale a business beyond a couple of $100,000 without a sales process, you are literally kidding yourself. That might work for someone who is key person dependent. If you want your business to be dependent on you for the rest of your life, absolutely, you should be the person who can unconsciously, competently sell someone into infinity and beyond. But I know personally that if I don't have a system and I can't teach it and someone else can't run the system, then my business has a huge flaw. And the way I see it, if we want to really just draw a couple of boxes, there are kind of 3 stages, right, that I find that we need to master. And this is rather than come to a call and have to react to what people want, I like to predict. And so when I think about sales loves a process, it's about prediction. It's not about reaction. When you don't have a process, you react. When you have a process, you can predict. Which one has the most power? Someone who's reactive or someone who's predictive? Prediction or reaction? You need to choose, because you either have a sales process that enables you to predict and therefore you can maintain your power and your control, or you don't. And so you'll be reactive to every objection, every situation, every problem, and ultimately over time as an operator, you'll be able to unconsciously kind of predict based on it's like hand-to-hand combat, right? Someone throws a jab and you know how to block, but you don't really have a strategy of how you fight. And so when we come into it, we realize that rather than say my sales cycle is long, people tend to go and say, I think about it. People have objections about price. People always, they take a long time to decide. What's an objection that you would get all the time? What's an objection that you would get all the time? In the chat, let me know. What's an objection you would get all over time? What's an objection that you guys would get at the moment? Damn, too expensive. Right, yep. Yeah. Let me take it back to the team to discuss, Andrew. Yeah, love that one. My business is different and unique. Vorno, absolutely, mate. How many unique businesses do we get? I'm too busy. I'm very busy. Not ready to work with a coach yet. Yeah, I'm not quite ready. I'm just trying to feel it out. So if you look at the objections, your sales process first and foremost should look to address objections. Let's dive into this. There's 3 phases to a sales process. Every single business is no different. These are principles. These are principles. They are evergreen. It doesn't matter what business you are in. These are always the same principles. Now, if you're ready, let's roll. Step 1, qualify. You're going to get interest. They're going to come from referrals. It's going to come from LinkedIn, email, webinars, workshops, networking events, paid marketing, partnerships, whatever you call it, you are going to get interest all the time. Can we agree? Because if you think my business is different, Ron, I'm in a different industry than you, it's very different. I'm different. Can we all agree that we all generate a level of interest? Maybe it's not enough, maybe it is enough, but can we just let me know, do we all generate interest? Yes or no? Yeah, cool. So we can all agree then by default that this is now valid for everybody. Cool. First things first. When you qualify someone, ultimately, what I'd like you to do is just put a big X above qualify. X equals problem. My whole goal of a qualification call is purely to understand a person's problem. It is not about my solution. It is not about what I do. It is not about how I do it. It is not about what I like, what I don't like. It is about you. What is your problem? Why are you here? What is happening? What's going on? What? The only exception to this is that what we do is we lead with some of our what pillars to overcome some common objections. So we'll talk about that in another training. That's okay. You don't need to know that for today. But what is understanding what the problem is. What I'd like to understand is how they currently operate that's causing the what. So here's what the problem is. So let me ask some questions. I want to diagnose. How does it feel when I do this? How does it feel when I do that? How does it feel if I move it here? So what I ask is, how many clients do you have? How much revenue do you have? How often do you work with your team? How often do you go for tenders? How much revenue do you need to hit? How how much, how many, how much, how frequently, how often, how. I want to diagnose, because what I want to do is I want to understand the reality, because everyone, I'm going to tell you this, and you're not going to hear it now, you'll hear it through experience. People are not aware of the reality of their problem. Most people and companies are not aware of the reality of their problem. Most people are aware of the macro of their problem, but they are not aware of the micro components that are creating the macro problem. They're not aware of the cause. They're just aware of the effect. So most people go, yeah, I don't have enough leads. Great. That's the macro, but they don't know why. Most people say, I just need, I'm paying too much tax. Macro problem, but they don't know why. They don't know what's going on to cause it. Most people say, I'm not generating enough revenue. Great, but they don't know why. They're not aware of the micro pieces that are creating the macro problems. I'm just not getting enough referrals, which really just means you're not generating the opportunity that you want. So if we just bring it up, you're not getting the opportunities that you need to grow the business that you want. That's the macro. Now let's understand why. So when I think about a call to qualify, what's going on? Now let's go through how you operate so I can understand the reality of the what. I want to understand the how so I can get clear on the what. Make sense? If it makes sense in the chat, just let me know. Just say, cool, got it, makes sense. Don't want to leave anyone behind. So, obviously the last part here is urgency. What, how? And now, urgency, there's two parts to urgency. There's time urgency and there's emotional urgency. Emotional urgency is why. I'll always ask why. So why now? Why do you want to solve this now? Why is this a priority now? Like why? Why not just continue to solve this on your own? Why not continue to figure it out on your own? Why do you need me? There's a number of different why questions, right? But why helps to anchor the need. And then the last part is when. So when would you like to make a decision on this? When would you like to move forward on this? When would you like to get started on this? When are you thinking about moving forward on this? When are you thinking about putting in place a strategy to solve that? When? So when you have that, when you can qualify, which we have the scripts and we've got the training for all of that, when you can qualify, what you have are two really powerful things, guys, right? You have reality and you have problem, right? The reality is really the pain. The problem is usually the big thing. It's the macro problem, right? So the problem is always macro and the pain is usually the micro. So for example, if I'm working with someone, I say, so really what I'm hearing is, so I might just use Dan as an example, right? I might say, so Dan, what I'm hearing is you're not generating enough leads. And Dan goes, yep, that's right. So I go, cool. Now, so well, the reason is, well, let's go through what's going on. And I just read back to Dan what he said to me. You're not generating enough leads. You don't have enough email contacts. You're barely using LinkedIn. You're relying on word of mouth. And I'm just hitting him with the truth. And as you hear the truth, it starts to become a bit raw, right? There's a bit of pain there because it's embarrassing in a way. Like, not that you want to make someone feel embarrassed, but you just want to let them know, well, this is how you're operating that is causing the problem. So, diagnosis is really important. So we've diagnosed, and then we can just look at, so I just want to make this, we diagnose, And then what we do is we deliver the reality, right? And so once I know it, I just deliver it back to someone. Let me just recap. What you said is, this is your problem. How you're operating currently that's causing that is you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have this, you said you need more of this, you don't have enough of that, you need more of that, you don't have a system for this, you don't. Why you need this now? Because there's not enough revenue in the bank. You have got a huge tax bill that you don't know what to do about. You feel like you're getting left behind. Whatever the reason is that they feel. And they say, and when you would like this to be resolved by is in the next 30 days. Have I got everything right? And they'll say yes. Now, I just want everybody to understand something. The sale is made here. The sale in someone's head is usually made here. It's not made in the sales call. It's confirmed in the launch call. It's official in the launch call. But the decision to work with you is made in this call. That's why. So when you can address someone's pain, there's a great saying in sales, when you can articulate the person's problem than they can, you become the immediate solution to the problem. When you can articulate the person's problem better than they can, you become the immediate solution to the problem. Most people don't want to go and talk about their pain and their problem with another person. So the fact that you can dive deep and get there gives you ultimately the authority and the permission to solve it. That's it. So the quality of your qualification, I always say qualify hard, close easy. Qualify hard, close easy. If you choose to have an impotent qualification process, you will have to work really hard down the line. You can't escape it, you just defer it. You can't escape it, you just defer it. I've tried it. I've tried to be nice. I've tried to be jolly. I've tried to be friendly. I've tried all of the things. And what I've come to over the years, it has made millions and millions and millions of dollars for myself and the companies I run and the clients that we work with, is when you have a process and you follow the process, you end up with a consistency and a benchmark that you can work against. Because if you don't have something that you can work against, how do you know what's working and what's not? What is it to qualify hard? Don't let people get away with bullshit responses. How many leads are you generating? Oh, not enough. When you say not enough, how many? Oh, I don't know, maybe 1 to 5. Is it 1 or is it 5? More like 1. So you're only generating 1 lead. Yes. Okay, next. Another example. Great question, Rob. So why are we on this call today? I don't know. Okay, do you mind if I ask, do you normally jump on calls when you're not sure of the reason? No, but you asked me. Perfect, no worries. Well, listen, people come to us for one of 4 reasons. 1, they come to us to build an offer that gets them to yes faster. 2, they want to generate more leads with qualified prospects. 3, they want to convert higher value clients. Or 4, they're stuck at a strategic level and they want help to go to the next level. So where are you at? Is it offer, leads, sales, or strategic help? It's more leads. Okay, so when I talk about leads, what's been going on with you in relation to leads? I'm not getting enough. How many leads are you getting? I'm not sure. How many do you need? I don't know. So when you say you don't have enough, what number would you need in order to think that you have enough? Maybe 10 a week. Okay, so you need 10 a week. How many are you getting at the moment? You see, what I'm doing is I'm going for specifics. Qualifying hard is about getting the specifics and not letting them off until you get the answer that you want. Qualifying easy is letting them get away with surface level bullshit responses. Like, so what's going on for you? Need more leads. No worries, need more leads. Okay, so do you mind if I talk to you about who do you help? People. Okay, you help people. What problem do you solve? I just help them grow. Great, help them grow. How many database do you have? Oh, not many, not many. That's how people brainstorm normally. There's no emotion in that. You're just literally taking an order. You're just writing down what they say. You're the doctor. Imagine going to a doctor, got a sore shoulder. Whereabouts is it sore? Somewhere in my shoulder. Okay, somewhere in your shoulder. What's the pain you're feeling? Sore? Okay, it's sore, is it? Okay, sore. A doctor has to qualify hard and direct, because they're not going to send you to get an operation if you've got a sprain. Hey, if you're enjoying what you're hearing so far, please like, subscribe, and comment. Getting this out to more people is why we do it, and hearing from you makes it all worthwhile. So please let us know. And by the way, if you'd like more information about the Expert Project, head on over to expertproject.com/launch, where you can tell us a bit more about your business, what you might be needing, how we might be able to help, and book a call with one of our team so we can help you grow your consulting business today. So next part is what we call the launch call. This is a really, really, really simple, not easy, simple call. We use one process and one process for everything that we do. It's called a money model, right? A money model. It kind of looks like a triangle. Now, when we qualify and then we convert, the idea here is to not just talk about your solution. That's boring. No one cares about your solution. No one cares about your solution. No one cares how good you are. No one cares how much you've been in business. No one cares about your pricing. No one cares about your support. No one cares about how much experience you've had. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. What people care about is their problem and how your solution is going to give them the outcome they want. Not the outcome you want. The outcome they want. That is all they care about. Anything that is trying to make you sound better is a waste of your time. And what I find is it's kind of like 50-50 in this call. Okay, and what I mean by that is you have to think about the thing that they buy, right? The thing that they buy. So let's just call it the decision that they make is based on two parts. Part one is your articulation and summary of their problem and how you link what you do, your solution, to solving that problem, right? It's a two-way street. You get that right, people make a decision. They make a yes decision. You get that wrong, they make a delayed decision or a no decision. So the way we do it is I always think about, let's just get clear on the problem again. Recap. You don't need to go through the whole thing, but I always think about it like I go through the reality and then I just summarize. So what you said you need, how it's showing up, like how you're operating at the moment that's sort of creating that. Why you need it now and when, right? Have I got that right? Get them to confirm. If they don't say yes, then make sure that you get it right. Do not move on until they can go, yep, that's exactly it. You've nailed it. So when I have my team do a brainstorm call, I get the notes, I put it into my computer, I read the notes. So before I jump on a call, I know exactly what the person's got, what they need, how they need it, why they need it, when they need it. I just need to, that's my job as out of integrity for the person's business and my own, I need to know what that is. So I get that clear, and then I will say something like, cool, have I got that right? Have I missed anything? Is there anything else you think I should know? And they'll say yes, or they'll say no. If they say, nope, that's pretty much it, I'll say, great. Would you like me to show you how? This is a great question, everyone. Would you like me to show would you like me to show how our solution can help you with your situation? Can I show you how our solution can help with your situation? And they say, yeah. I go, cool. All right. Let me show you that. Now, this is what I do. So I can't tell you what you want. I've got some people who put this in a PowerPoint presentation. No problem. I get people who systemize this and it's very documented. No problem. The thing that I often do is I remember profit loves a process. And so with the money model, the reason why we created the money model is because one, it shows you how you deliver what you do. It helps you create great marketing and it helps you sell. Everything comes back to it. And so an example of that would be one I did the other day, and it looks a little bit like this. This is legitimately one that I did. I actually had a sales call and it was just a time zone thing. They were in the US, so yeah, it was on a Saturday actually. First one I've done on a Saturday for a long time, but she really wanted help, needed help, so I took her through this. Now, this is what the offer looked like. And now 90% of the time, those of you who have had a launch call with me, which most of you had, you will see that most of the call, that is similar to exactly how I spoke to you. So Dan, for example, mate, you would have seen this, right? Yep. Anthony, Derek, Joel, Rob, you guys would have all seen an element of this. So when you see this, you know that I'm not making it up. Like, this is the same thing I do every time. Now, here's the big distinction I want to make, and I really want to help you with this. This is important, is that I'm not going to draw a triangle. When I teach people to create their money model, we teach you to put what you stand for in the middle. So what I do is I go, well, look, we're going to help you build a 500K consulting business with a tiny team and big profits, essentially. But when I'm working with a client, they don't care about that. What they care about is their problem. So what I do is I make sure that their problem gets flipped into the outcome, not the solution, the outcome that they want. That's what I put in the middle of the triangle. So I'll say to them, so what I'm hearing is you need 2 to 3 new leads a week to get to 150K base income. Yes. Note, I put that in the middle of this triangle. Consistent income at 150K base. Before I move on, is that clear? Do not put your thing in the middle. No one cares. Their thing is in the middle. They are the center of this conversation. They are the reason why we're having this conversation. It's got nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with your big outcome or your big promise. It's got everything to do with you making it about them. Link it or sink it. If you can't link the thing to their thing, don't talk about it. So I was going, perfect. Let's put, for example, I'll take that, I'll take the outcome that they want. And then your goal, everybody, is all I'd like you to do is you just want to draw, that's terrible. I'd like you to draw some arrows in. That, your job is to talk and then link and then get an agreement. So here it is. 1, talk or articulate. Link, and then get confirmation. Let's go through a demo. Okay, so I'll talk to Rob. So Rob, you want to get to 150K a year, right? Yes. Okay, I believe, Rob, that business is a system, that it's the sum of many parts that creates the outcome that you want. And the first part of that system, Rob, the most important part of that system is to really have a look at your model, the way you operate, and the offer that you have, which is the thing that you market, the thing that you sell, and the thing that you deliver. It's essentially the thing you get paid for. Does that make sense? Yes. Now, Rob, the first thing that we do is we want to have a look at that model and that offer, and there's really three main parts that we need to help get you clear on so we can help you achieve that 150K goal. And the first thing is we need to help you articulate what you do better. Because when I first spoke to you, Rob, when we were having a look, this is an example, by the way, when we were going through, our last call, you weren't very clear on what you did. Right? Would you agree that you could be more clear? Yes, I am. Yeah, I agree. The second thing that we want to do is we want to help you demonstrate. So it's all good to help people understand what you do, but what people buy is how you do it, Rob. So if you don't have a way to demonstrate clearly how you do what you do, you're going to be just like everybody else, left to compete on price. That's why it's hard for you to get to 150K at the moment. Would you say that's fair? That's fair. Okay, great. The next thing that we want to do is we want to differentiate. And differentiate is why you are different and better than everyone else. People call it your unique selling point. I just call it your unique pricing point. It's how we're going to help you charge what you're worth and get paid for it. Would you agree that us getting clear on your model, helping you articulate, demonstrate, and differentiate, Rob, is an important part of you hitting 150K? Great. I could even go further and say, why do you think that? And Rob will say, well, I think because, yeah, you're right. I'm not 100% clear. I know that is something I need to get clear on. Absolutely, mate. I appreciate that. All right, next thing that we do, and I move on. When I talk about this stuff here, you'll see that there was a third box. So we're going to talk about that in just a second because that's important. Rob said, should we tailor the money model based on each customer's problem? No. The only thing you should tailor to their problem is this. Because the principles, right, on the outside, in terms of the foundations that we teach, they should be evergreen principles. They shouldn't just be like, oh, this one works for this person and this one works for that person. They're evergreen principles that apply strategically to how you solve a problem. So you shouldn't have to customize them. That's why Anthony can do that PowerPoint presentation. The only thing he might do is go in there and just edit the person's goal. So, yeah. But we fill in the middle based on their problem. Yeah, based on what they say they want. Based on what they say they want. So if that's confusing for anyone, what is it that they say they want? What do they want? Because ultimately the reason why they don't have it is because they don't have a plan. As Joel said, your model is always the answer to whatever their problem is. Always. Does that make sense, Rob? Cool. All right. So the third box, convert. Always assume, rather than be reactive, always be predictive, is know that there may be a time, which is okay, should you have done everything you feel right without pushing someone into being pushed away, where somebody legitimately, and this is where sales is not an exact science in a way, you can feel like you had the best call and you get to the end and I'm talking to Derek and I'm like, Derek, what do you reckon? Derek's like, yeah, no, well, hey, let me think about it. And I go, okay, cool. And that's normally what happens. Okay, have a think about it, come back to me. Yeah, no worries, Derek. All right, chat to you later, bye. All of a sudden, I've lost control of that relationship. Now, Derek, he's going to get busy and I don't know if he's going to message me. And I'm like a desperate guy checking the phone to see whether his girlfriend's messaged, right? Is Derek coming back to me yet? Has Derek come back to me yet? Rather than that, you maintain control of the relationship until you get a no. Sales is about a yes or a no, and maybe is not an option. Maybe is not an answer. Maybe is just keeping someone in the exact same spot as where they were at the start. You do not sell maybes. An expert consultant does not deal in maybes. There is no maybes. Maybe is off the table. So if someone says, well, maybe this sounds good, I really like it, and you may end up with a couple of these objections. I'm part of another program, so I just need to see if I can get out of that. I'm already committed to this, and I think I can get out. I've just got to try. Or magical business partner. Oh, I've got a business partner or an accountant. Okay, cool. All of that can be solved with a couple of things, guys. The first thing is to clarify. So I always think about an objection like clarifying it down to the problem. So if someone says to me, I'm already part of a program, I'd say, great. How long are you committed to that program for? Oh, another year. Fantastic. Do you have any room to move, or is this something you want to move? Is this something that if we could find a way to support you at the same time, is there room for that? Yes. Oh, maybe there is. Yes. Okay. Cool. Business partner. Fantastic. Well, I didn't realize you had a business partner. We do ask that. We do train that, guys, to ask that at the start of the brainstorm call, the qualification call. But let's just say someone says, they just say, oh, by the way, I do have a business partner, magical business partner. You say, fantastic. Okay. Well, it would have been good to have them on today's call because I really like them to be part of that if they were a part of the decision. So why don't we do this? So the third box is always, and often I'm not saying this is just in case. The third box is always for follow-up. And it's a calendar. At the end of it, if someone needs to think about it for whatever reason, then you want to book that within 72 hours. No longer, if possible. Any longer than 7 days equals dead. Statistically speaking, any time the tension, remember I spoke about tension? Any time the tension is extended for more than 72 hours, the tension, it will result in a reduced decision. More tension increases decision, less tension decreases decision. So if the tension is high, we'll be able to get a decision, right? So anything past 72 hours, it's a tension or a decision. So we want to make sure that in our world, we want to make sure it's as close to the call as possible. The other reason why I'm looking for that is because people who want to push something out beyond 3 days, apart from something to do with travel or whatnot, it's usually another indication by virtue of their action that they are not interested, that the urgency isn't there. So the first thing that I would say to them, everybody, is I'd go back to this and I'd say, well, remember when you said, so sorry, just so I'm clear, Derek, remember you said this is something you need to get started on in the next 30 days. So another week means we have 3 weeks to do something together. Can I suggest that we catch up sooner and then we can make a decision a little quicker? And if that's a no, you can let me know. But if it's a yes, let's at least get started and we can be flexible around maybe the terms of how you start to just help you with anything that's going on. I've got to travel for a month. Okay, well, what if can you be flexible? And I think at the end of the day, that's the name of the game here, is flexibility makes or breaks the sales. And flexibility does not mean discounting. Flexibility can mean starting now, delaying a little bit later. It can mean it can be a payment up front and then a little bit less down. You can be flexible because flexibility is often something that people need, not because they're trying to weasel out of it or not because people are upset or not. It's because sometimes there are some small things that are in people's calendar. I'm going away. I have a client who's, I'm going on a honeymoon for 6 weeks in May and I don't want to waste my time. Well, great. Well, what if have a suggestion? I've got a busy month in, name the month. Well, great. What if can you be flexible? And often flexibility in not, that doesn't mean you discount. You go, well, okay, well, it was $100. Now what if we did it as $5? Would you start? Oh yeah, no. You can add value, but you never discount your rate. That's another tip. But flexibility is important because flexibility is, it kind of allows you to, it gives you options and it gives them options. And sometimes options are what people want to get started, right? Options. So when you can understand what the objections are, the question is, if someone has objections, what are the options? And what you find is that with every objection, if you have an option to every objection, you'll overcome the objection. I don't know if I can start. Well, what if we start now, but we delayed the, initial payment till that date? Oh, okay. I don't have, money's a bit tight. Well, what if we take a little deposit now and then we take the rest later? Okay, that could work. My business, I want to start, but I'm part of another program. When do you finish the program? In April. Well, what if we do this? What if we take a deposit now to get you started? We'll give you a couple of sessions to line up the plan, and then we'll re-engage a form. We'll officially start on that date just after. Okay, that could work. As long as it doesn't put you in a position where you are struggling or hurting, or you feel like you've got to give more than you're willing to give, options overcome objections. Every time. There is an option for every objection, and therefore there is an outcome to every objection. And if you think about the mastery of sales, what I've taught today, obviously in our trainings in Expert, we'll give you that we'll go deeper into each one of these with the scripts and the templates and the frameworks and the trainings. But as an overview for today, looking at it like this, where Derek said, where have I heard that before? Yeah. As I said to you guys, I practice what I teach. It's very hard to teach something I don't do. So I find myself every day dialing this in, and I find myself having the same problems you do. I find myself having a lot of the same challenges. And so I have to come up with because I'm a little bit ahead, I can sort of preempt and predict, and then I can give you the options that work for me, and I know that they're going to work for you. So first one is make it about the problem. Interest, right? Convert. Make it about the solution plus the problem equals the decision. And that there is about, if you think about interest, it's really about desire. How much do they want it? And the follow-up is really just helping to know that some people, it doesn't always work like this, but there are some people that even though they've had 2 calls with you, will need a 3rd call just to simmer it out. And if you can be flexible with that, but set a really clear frame, like this is one thing I will say to all of you with the 3rd follow-up. I like to frame the 3rd follow-up like this. Joel, based on what you've heard today, do you feel that this will help you get to your outcome of 150K a month? And Joel said, yeah. And I go, no, Joel, really? Like, can we just have an honest conversation? Do you really believe that what I've shared will help you get to 150K a year? And if Joel honestly says, yeah, mate, I really do. And you go, great. So apart from money, or apart from time, or apart from being another commitment, or apart from whatever their objection was, is there any other reason why you wouldn't move forward today? No, it's just that. So do you mind if I ask? If I could help be a bit flexible with money, time, commitment, would it make it easier for you to say yes today and for us to get started? And they'll either say, yes, it is, or they'll say, nah, I just need another day to think about it. You go, great, well, how about we do this? Let's book a time in the next couple of days to circle back. But if you don't mind me saying, would it be possible for you to let me know in the lead up to that, if this is suddenly becomes something you don't want to do, let me know and I can make the time available for someone else. Or alternatively, if you do, show up to the call, ask any questions you've got, come with any challenges or any things that you think I need to know or anything you want help with. I can help, we can create some solutions for those things and then we can sort of make a decision to move forward together. Does that sound fair? Yes, that sounds fair. Okay, fantastic. Well, listen, let's open up our calendars now. And Andrew, why don't we book a time in for? Andrew says, yep, great, cool. That's the best I can do. And some people, you've just got to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. And I find that most people who don't want it will tell you then, and most people who do will show up to the next call and make a decision to work with you. So please, guys, re-watch this, put it in your head as you're walking around, listen to it, transcribe it, but practice it. All sales are simply helping someone make a decision, and the process is just about maintaining tension and control. And remember, prediction trumps reaction. You either have a process where you can predict and that leaves you in control, or you don't and you're reactive and that forces you to be out of control. One is going to get you paid faster than the other. Guys, thanks so much for joining us for today. Have a fantastic week and we'll catch you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now. If you've liked today's masterclass, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and comment so we can hear from you and get this out to more consultants just like you who are looking to grow their practices to 500K and beyond. Helping consultants find their true worth and commercialize it in the marketplace is why we exist. If you'd like to learn how you can grow your consulting business, head on over to expertproject.com. Learn a bit more about what we do, download some more of our free resources, or follow us on social media. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want a direct access link into one of our teams so we can learn a bit more about your business, what you're wanting to create, and how we might be able to help, head on over to expertproject.com/launch. Give us a bit of detail about you, your business, and we look forward to having a chat with you and helping you grow your consulting business. In the meantime, take care and bye for now.